All right. It's Will, aka ZombieNikon, and I'm here with
Jake, a certified forklift operator.
and we're going to talk about stuff. So it's been, I feel like it's been forever since we recorded a podcast, but in reality, it hasn't, right? Like, I'm not insane. I think we missed last week.
We missed 1 week last week because I headed out to Albuquerque and all that kind of stuff for a family vacation and that kind of jazz.
Yeah, of course. And which is fine. Everybody needs that. Everybody needs that in their life. I'm going to turn the volume up here for a second. Yeah, so I haven't done anything. Bree's on vacation right now too, and I'm all sad. I'm a little sad boy about it. So yeah, it's making me not want to do anything productive with my life.
Oh man,
I really got to stop touching this microphone because I keep fucking it up. Why won't you stay in place now?
It's swinging low. Yeah, it's just doing circles at this point.
I fixed it. No, I didn't. Oh God. I fixed it. Jesus. Now I just got to stop touching it like a fucking child.
Yep.
So how was your vacation? Did you have fun?
Yeah, we had a good time. Everything was still kind of closed as far as like aquariums and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we didn't really get to do a lot of the exhibits that we were expecting to do or anything because all of them opened up like the day we were leaving kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Randall went to a Dave & Buster's for the first time, and that was pretty exciting for him because it's all neon lights and arcade games. So,
I've never been to that. That's basically like Chuck E. Cheese, but for adults, right?
Yeah, or like older teenagers probably.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what they make fun of. Isn't that in Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I think so.
Blitz and Chits.
Blitz and Chits. Yeah, and where you can drink beer and play arcade games if you really want to.
That sounds phenomenal, actually. That sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah, it was a good time, except for they don't sell cheese sticks, which made me really disappointed in it. So, like because I'm a thickums. So.
Oh man, yeah. Bree goes crazy over cheese sticks too, but she has that celiac disease, right?
Yeah,
so she can't eat like
stuff.
any of that stuff.
Oh
yeah.
Man,
super bad.
Yeah, like what is it? There's like a Trader Joe's up there, which is a real organic-ish kind of shop, like more organic grocery stop kind of thing.
I'm familiar.
And they had gluten-free like potatoes or like potato chips up there, and anything that says gluten-free not good like 90% of the time. Like,
well, it really just depends. I mean I eat pretty much gluten-free just because that's what she does too. But I'll give that to you. Like gluten-free bread. There's some brands and stuff that you can get that's really good, but I don't know. That's like the one thing that like should not be gluten free because like I eat like wheat bread and shit, and that's literally where gluten comes from. So it's I don't know.
Well, and it's like definitely one of those things that the
good hearty cheeseburger you probably won't. I mean, Bree's made some really fucking good gluten free cheeseburgers before. Yeah, but
because because I don't eat a lot of
pizza's another one that
products
gets weird
anymore either. Yeah. And there's definitely more options. It's gotten a lot better in the last, X amount of years,
really
compared to the early aughts.
I'm sinking in my broke ass chair with my broke ass mic stand now.
It's all good.
Yeah, so I'm having to keep lower this down, which is probably why it's gonna sound like garbage.
We're gonna have to buy you some new stuff. Huh?
Apparently, yeah. My fucking chair is I'm just slowly getting shorter. I'm shorter than you are sitting in your stool right now. God,
how's it feel?
It feels right. I identify as a 5'5" person now. So
that's how this works, yeah. That's right where Napoleon syndrome starts.
Is it?
Yeah. That's right where little man syndrome starts. Like
the Chihuahua syndrome.
Yeah. Where you start barking at people.
We're just joking though. Stay cool, short kings. Okay, we're here for you.
Oh yeah, I'm literally 5'6". Like
I'm 6'3". So
I'm tiny. I'm a dwarf.
Yeah, which is funny because
in the fantasy
our picture for mediocre experts, the bear and the rabbit. I don't think we've ever talked about this or the origin of that.
Yeah.
Which is something we can get into now since we're on the normal everyday conversation right now. But so the bear is you. That's the thing you picked. The is it? Yeah, it's just a normal bear, right?
Yeah, it's just like a grizzly bear
with a top hat.
With a top hat, yeah.
And then mine was the skitsed out rabbit. Which is funny because in real life you are much shorter than me,
right?
Being that I'm 6'3" and you're 5'6", so it fits out for our best friendship here. And
it's good.
Yeah, on that picture I've never noticed it, but we're the exact opposite. I'm like this tiny little rabbit, and you're like this big ass burr.
Yeah, because I like to eat and sleep a lot, and covered in hair.
And then from mine, the rabbit comes from I think one of my streams. where I was trying to run away from some shit, and I was just like, I'm a rabbit. I'm a rabbit. I'm just getting like sniped.
Oh yeah, because people, rabbiting away from people is a big deal. For survival, in a lot of those games. And
that's my whole
like
thing.
That.
It's just running, platforming. That's what I do.
No, it's good, and most people don't expect it, especially in like FPSs and stuff like that, where you legitimately like someone will shoot you and you're just like nope, and they're like wait, where'd they go?
And that's the thing too. I've been watching a lot of FaZe Jev, Jev. He's a YouTuber and a professional like COD player for FaZe, Atlanta FaZe. I don't know if he's still in the Atlanta FaZe. He hasn't released anything on his YouTube channel, at least saying that he's going to like scrims or anything like, Scump always bragging about that shit.
Right.
But he's a pretty good player in multiplayer, and he's been doing like this thing spectating in Warzone, and it's something I really want to do. Yeah. But he was watching, like he created a new account, which is the video I sent you last night.
Right.
Brand new account, level 1. It's from like one of his old things that he did with like Steam or whatever, because one of his accounts got like banned or locked out or something. And, oh yeah, that's what it was. Because he got reported for cheating because he's a FaZe player, which means he automatically knows how to snipe everyone better than anyone else.
Right.
And so people will report you because they think you're hacking.
Clack you from forever away.
Yeah, forever away and up close at like just insane speeds, getting like 6 and 7 kills at a time. But in that one, he was watching these dudes, and that's one of the things he mentions is that like some people have like the mechanics of like you walk forward, you look right, you look left, things like that, right? Like the controls of on the mouse and keyboard or on like your controller, but no one actually knows how to move in COD. Not at that like low level play. Not at like level 1 to level 100.
No one's using cover. No one's doing anything like that.
Yeah, not at all. This dude. So what he does is he spawns in, dives out of the plane, and then instead of pulling his parachute, he just nosedives into the earth. Goes into the gulag and then gives someone a free kill.
Right. Whoever
Whoever kills him in the gulag, he comes back and just spectates them until they die.
Gotcha.
And when he was playing on his account, he was seeing people that actually kind of knew how to play the game. They were like looting and moving and like slide canceling and shit like that. And he was watching this dude, and he was like, dude, this is like watching a campaign mission. It's so scenic. He's just like, he's just taking his time. He's moving through the environment. And then he gets sniped at like 7 times. And he's like looking around, just like standing out in the open. And like you could see the fucking tracers in COD, and you could see a little red indicator of where you need to like look.
Right.
And the dude looks at this dude like 3 times from like, he's fucking a mile away because it's COD. But he looks at him like 3 or 4 times, and FaZe Jev is just like dodging it on the camera because he's like, what are you doing? And then the guy gets inside and escapes. Doesn't get killed by that guy.
Right.
He follows the same dude for like 35 minutes from like wave or from circle like 1 all the way through like circle 5 before that guy dies.
Oh wow.
And it's because he gets like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th partied by people that he was like shooting at. You also notice this thing where people like calmly, like they pull down the left trigger, they ADS, and they go into like their ACOG, and they're just following the dude and like kind of missing a little bit, and then they start firing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've never done that. I literally fucking ADS, snap on a target, and then just start pulling the fucking trigger and trying to control my recoil. Like that's the only thing I do.
I have watched people, but that's because I'm trying to get better at not just instinctively shooting at someone I'm only going to see for half a frame.
Well, in multiplayer,
that's a habit I'm trying to change.
Yeah, multiplayer for COD is a lot different too, though, because you have people that are darting in and out of buildings all the time. So that's a different skill set. In Warzone, when someone's out in the fucking that it's not a trench, oh my god, the fucking thing with the water, like the riverbed looking thing. You know what I'm talking about? They have it in like LA and shit.
Yeah, the not the dam, but the like Aurora or something like that.
Yeah, it leads from the dam like all the way through the fucking map on COD. What is that called
anymore? I think it's just a river, technically.
No, there's it's called something. It's like concrete and all that shit, get the slanted walls. It was in fucking
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2, yeah, where they're like driving through it with the damn dirt bike out running an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, he was one-handing, like shooting a shotgun.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I can't remember what I cannot think of the word for that right now.
No, not reservoir, because that's the top part.
Yeah. Whatever. But yeah, that section of it, he was like watching a dude in the middle of that and was just trying to line up his shots. And then he was using an M4 with the Corvus barrel, which automatically makes it like have 100 times more recoil than anything else. And he was like, "You're gonna have a lot of recoil with that." And he goes, "Da-da-da," and it just skyrockets. And like, told you, like, it's just, man, different levels of skill.
Yeah. Well, and so I realized that I play with a lot of odd weapons because I was playing Rambo's gun game. And I realized that most people don't know how to use the combat bow. But for the first, like, couple weeks I was playing the game, I was just going ham and having fun with it.
Yeah.
Because it's a really low kill streak in the game. And, like, yeah, someone, like, would pop out in front of me with it and they couldn't hit anything. But for me, it's almost instantly, like, I'll get a kill with it, like, in the first, like, arrow or two.
It was the same thing with the, not the crossbow. Was it the crossbow? Yeah, it was the crossbow in Modern Warfare.
There's a crossbow in it too, and like you can just tell people because they're just like whatever, and then I just like whip around like
because they're used to having that extra bullets, especially in the Warzone mentality, right? So Warzone mentality, it's just different mechanics, and there are people that are really fucking good at it, like Huskers and Tin the Tap Man and all those people, Nick Merckx, but like it's a different type of play style. Like if you have 60 rounds or God forbid you have like the stoner LMG that's like 120 rounds. Yeah. People don't have to fucking aim anymore. They just spray in your direction and they're going to kill you.
You even have the Bullfrog where you can get like 115
rounds.
Yeah,
and it's an SMG.
And then the new PPSH, you can unlock like a 71 round drum for it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets kind of crazy.
Everybody hates that SMG. Apparently it's got the lowest time to kill in Warzone, but I've been watching a lot of Warzone videos. I'm trying to hype myself back up because I don't feel that connection to Warzone anymore. It's just not fun for me.
I think we should drop into one, but I've always enjoyed multiplayer.
Maybe I will.
Because
I don't know.
It's about the payoff, right? If I play a 15 to 30 minute game, I want to get as many interactions as I can.
Yeah.
And in multiplayer, and I'll admit, like, I'm not an amazing player or anything, but I'll get like 30 kills to 20 deaths. That's 50 interactions where I've like learned something, if that makes sense. Or how someone's played, or
100%. And you're always like unlocking stuff and you're doing stuff. It's not just like you go into a building, loot, and then you spend 45 minutes trying to find your bounty who's just sitting in a goddamn building.
Yep. Yeah, and for me, I'm always an aggressive player. So like even in Warzone and stuff like that, I die a lot just because I like to move. You know, I like to be mobile.
I don't like to. I don't understand how people can. And that's the same thing Jeff was saying too. Is like, how can you spend 10 minutes in loading screens, get into this fucking lobby, and then you like loot. Don't even go after your fucking
bounty.
Well, not your bounty. You don't even grab bounties. They grab like recons and shit, so they know where the circles are going to be. But then they grab, oh my god, their loadout. They never grab their like fucking loadouts. That's one thing he's pointed out in solo is that like if you get a halfway decent gun, like just barely decent, like maybe a sniper rifle or something, like no one grabs their fucking loadouts. No one gets their perks. Yeah. Or the perks they're playing is just Ghost. So they just go get Ghost and then they go and sit in a corner of a building in a dark spot with a rose skin.
Yeah. The strategy is always your first one is overkill, so you can have two main weapons, and your second one's Ghost.
No, that's the pro plays. The first one that everyone grabs is Ghost in solos.
Yeah,
and then the second one they grab is Ghost with another gun.
That's little brain plays.
No, man, restock's where it's at. You know how many fucking restock's pretty you know how many stun grenades I get with restock? fuck Ghost. I don't need Ghost. I'm rushing at you like you know there's a bounty coming after you and you know that it's within a certain meter. Why the fuck would I care that I'm ghosted?
Oh, yeah. I think we did a number of times where it'd be like, the bounty has started. And then like when it turns orange, we're like, we're going to find these people first. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Wait, we're hunting you. No. Oh, no, you're not.
There's enemies on all sides. Good. That means I can shoot in any direction and hit them. I don't know, man. It's a different play style. I like being aggressive. That's what brought me into COD, was just being aggressive and wrecking people's faces. It was the same thing in like Battlefield, right? So the whole reason I never got into Battlefield was because it took so long. Like each game was like an hour because it was like 32v32 or 64v64.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's also, there's a lot of people in that game who like to snipe, and not all of them should.
Yeah. So you have 15 people on the enemy team just sitting in the back of their spawn because you can't go over there to them.
Yeah, they're just shooting and
they in the game with like 20 kills, which is just because I don't know, they fucking like respawn. Well, you can see anybody.
Yeah. And then they, but yeah, the best part is that those are the clips that they'll put up on like Facebook and stuff like that. Is they like fire 10 rounds, they got like 2 kills.
Yeah.
And
oh
like,
man,
best sniper ever.
Don't get me started on that. Back whenever Warzone was really popular and people would get like double kills and post that shit on Facebook, and I would just roast them. I'm like, you got 2 kills. Calm the fuck down. You were below average at this point. Like, stop. 2 kills, 2 deaths. You have a 1 KD. Good job, bud. Like, relax.
Oh, exactly. Oh, yeah. Hardcore, you know?
And then the fucking, where people on PlayStation would have, like, super shitty monitors or super shitty, like, TVs, and they would up the sharpness or brightness, so they could see in corners and shit. So you could see it on your screen, and it looks fine. But then whenever you record a video and post it on something, it's just whited out. It's like completely white, like frosted, almost opaque goddamn screens. Garbage. Yeah, it just looks like garbage. And they're like, oh, check out this triple kill I got in Warzone. And you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm staring at. What is this, snow? Yeah. Did they add snow to the game now?
Did you get flashbanged the whole time? Yeah, you know. I did see a video where someone got dinked in the head with a flashbang. So someone chucked it, and you see it actually like clip off of them before it explodes.
No way.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't think I've ever done that. I did find out there's a lot of people that do testing for Warzone and Call of Duty in general, and you can get stuck with napalm and drop a trophy system, and it snares the napalm off of you.
Yeah, the thermite.
Yeah, thermite.
Yeah, it's
Napalm.
crazy.
That's the score streak.
What was I gonna say? I remember. I don't know if it's still a feature, but they do inflict like 1 or 2 damage. So I distinctly remember me and a friend were playing the first Modern Warfare from like 2008 or whatever it is, and so like I would clip him a couple times, and then I would like go to flashbang him, and he'd like repeat the same corner. So I actually like killed him with a flashbang once or twice, which is kind of hilarious because like that shouldn't happen.
No, not at all. It should never happen.
No.
Well, it's like I have that video on Facebook of me killing a guy with a rock at the gulag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he got down to 1 health and you just
fucking dink, dead. It got me out of the gulag too. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Oh, I have to go back and watch the video now. I'm pretty sure I got out of the gulag with that.
Yeah. I can't remember honestly if you did or not.
No, I can't either. It's on my Facebook, facebook.com/ZombieNikon. No, I don't think it got me out of the gulag. I think I killed the guy, and it did give me credit for the kill. Oh, and it got the other guy out of the gulag. That's what it was. So the opponent damaged him. I hit him with a rock, and that guy won because the other dude died.
Right.
So it'd be like the equivalent of killing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Warzone was a good time. Warzone was a good time in like Modern Warfare seasons like 2 through like 6.
Yeah.
And then when it hit season 6, everything just started getting broken again, and really like all the shenanigans started happening.
It's definitely a game that needs to be balanced regularly with the
they send out patches like every month, man. Like it's just they think that nerfing guns is the way to go instead of bringing up other guns to that level.
Right.
So like the Kar 98, right? The Kar 98 has the fastest ADS of like a quote unquote sniper rifle.
Right.
It's a marksman rifle in Modern Warfare. Like, don't fucking correct me, I know that, but it has one of the fastest ADSs. And now the K-Swiss or whatever, it has one of the fastest damages. So there's this huge argument going around on the internet right now about which one's better. Like which one should you use? Which one's better? And the Kar 98 still beats it out because you can ADS faster and you can fire faster. So obviously that one's going to be good because you can put 3 bullets in someone's chest versus them putting 1 into your maybe head and killing you.
Right.
Like I don't know. But instead of bringing all the other like sniper rifles up to the level of like the HDR, like the Pellington and the Tundra and stuff that's come out now, they just keep nerfing all the other guns and trying to bring them down to the level of like the Pellington, and it's never going to fucking happen.
Right.
So like I played the AMAX back when it first fucking came out. I have a video on my YouTube about it. You can go and look at the date. And I was like, dude, this gun's amazing. It's so broken. And then everyone was still using the fucking Grau and like the MP5 and all these other guns that came out. The Bruin, that was a big one back then.
Oh, yeah.
No one was using the fucking AMAX. All of those got nerfed, and then someone found the AMAX and was like, oh, with these attachments, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Nick Merckx, actually, I think.
Well, and the biggest thing with that is the biggest thing they usually bring down is the range of time to kill.
Yeah.
And it's usually the long range, which is like greater than 50 to like 100 meters.
Yeah, so if you're fighting someone at medium range, which most of your interactions will be, like,
well, and that's
you're
what's
still
crazy,
good.
right? Is and like so, but because you have this handful of streamers come out and they're like, oh, it's trash now because they're not clipping someone at 200 meters away. No one uses it again.
Jev did that too because I was watching his video from when the FFAR and the AUG got nerfed.
Oh yeah.
And the AUG didn't like the damage, the time to kill, none of that shit got nerfed. What it was they upped the recoil of it for the first burst. So like you fire and like maybe 1-2 of your bullets will hit if you're at long range, and then the other one will miss. So it takes 2 bursts to kill instead of like 1 or 2. Like you know what I'm saying? Or 3 bursts to kill instead of like 1 or 2. And he was watching the dude that was playing, and he was like, "Oh, AUG, I wonder what a secondary is. Bet you can guess." And then he swaps to it, and it's the fucking FFAR, and he's like, "God damn it!" And then the dude like got into a combat with dude at medium range, missed all of his fucking shots because he couldn't control the recoil.
Yep.
Because people want a fucking easy button in COD instead of learning the actual game mechanics and how to like control stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Oh yeah, man.
It always throws me off because I watch a lot of like high-end streamers like Scump, who's been playing Call of Duty for like fucking 10 years or something.
Yeah,
Nick Merckx, who was professional like COD player.
Yeah.
And so I watch all those guys, and they just laser beam people.
Yeah.
And I forget that the average man doesn't know how to control the recoil or do any of that shit.
Right.
And so like it makes me feel much better. Much better because I can actually do that shit. I feel so much better about myself. Which is partially, I think even Jev said it on those videos that I've been watching where he spectates, is it's like it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic because you get your ego gets ahead of you when you're playing games like COD because everyone thinks they're the best COD player of all time.
Yeah.
Hashtag I am, obviously. And so you go in there and you die by someone, and then you just fucking get angry and pissed off for no reason. Like for one thing, it's a video game and you should be having fun with it anyway. And another thing, like it's literally because you think that you should be better than that person, even though they're probably better than you.
Right.
Because a lot of those like 12-year-olds just spend all day playing COD And it's the summertime now, which means we're gonna get all those noobs hopping in there and just playing Warzone and COD for the next 3 months while they're out of school. Like,
yeah, it's gonna get rough.
Yeah, it's gonna
what was the meme? It was like my girlfriend getting my KD tattooed, and me. Are you sure you want to do that? Yeah, babe. I'm just so proud of you. Like, yeah, like that.
0.53. What? It's not technically negative. It's above 0. So
I am a support player. So I'm gonna need you to take that.
Your KD's not that. Like your KD's at like a. Well, I know the KD for Cold War is weird.
Yeah,
because they count
eliminations.
Yeah.
I think I'm really only like a 0.9 or something on Cold War.
I actually haven't played any of the CODs in so long.
Yeah,
it probably hasn't even kept up with my metrics.
Yeah, I know in Warzone I'm like a 1.1 or 1.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not even sure what it is because it's not that important of a metric,
man,
and it's like counting damage, right?
Oh and my fucking god!
It's like counting damage because you can end the game with 1,000 damage and 0 kills. Strickland.
Oh, Strick, yeah, man. Yeah. Strick was like, I would be fucking like 12 kills, and he's at like 5 kills, and he's like, yeah, but I have the most damage on the team. So I was like, yeah, so that means you shot and couldn't finish off people.
Well, yeah,
that's all that means. Damage doesn't fucking matter in Warzone.
And that's why I'm trying to get better at not just clipping people that are going around corners.
Yeah, you have to fucking commit.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's solid.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong fucking thing.
Got to plink people, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Like you can't. No. Yeah, damage. Fucking damage. Are you crazy? Jesus.
That's how it goes. What was I gonna do? Oh, I have a magic card that I was gonna talk to you about. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but it has the entire Magic the Gathering community in a tizzy apparently.
Does it?
Yeah. So there's a new set coming out called Modern Horizons. Drops mid-June sometime, like June 18th, something like that. And there's a 5-color legendary creature, so you know it's like built for commander, right? Yeah. And then so he's a 5-drop 5/5. You tap him, you choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of that card. And people are just losing their mind because they want them to print like a Black Lotus token that, you know, they would just pump the price on and all that kind of stuff. 100%. You know?
So it allows you to create copies of any of those cards. Yeah. And all of those cards they give you mana, right?
No, like they're just really classic ones. Like the Shivan Dragon is like the 6 cost. It's like a 5 or 6 cost, like 5/5 flyer that you can pump for like 1 or 2. You can pump it by 1.
Yeah, it sounds super familiar.
Yeah, it's a classic dragon, like the old original. It's like in alpha, so a lot of these are from like the reserve list. Like Black Lotus is the main reason. Is there
Wizards really knows how to like get that fucking money from.
They're towing the line hard. That's probably the first time that Black Lotus has even been printed in the name of a card. Or like even in the description.
I wonder if they're hinting at it. That's an Easter egg. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah, exactly. But they really are really good at towing that line of like excitement and stuff. So he'll probably be expensive just because it's mentioned on there.
Oh yeah, all the fucking all the bros that play Commander, all the bros that play easy mode Commander, they're definitely gonna start buying that shit.
Oh yeah,
Ryan, exactly. I'm looking at you. You're probably gonna get it, aren't you?
I mean, you know me. I'll probably find the alternate art and buy one just to sit on it for a while. You know.
Yeah, never sell it.
The only other one that I think you would find interesting is Diamond Lion. So it's a 2-drop, and it's a callback to Lion's Eye Diamond. Yeah. So you tap, sack it, add 3 of any color, but you have to discard your hand.
So it's a really from Madness deck.
It's a really cool Madness effect because you.
What color is it?
Colorless. 2 colorless.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw it as soon as I said it.
Yep. And then, but the whole Darth One Eye has like, there's all kinds of reaction videos on YouTube and everything like that, just because people are they're wiling out for it right now, you know?
Jesus Christ. It's like when everyone got super excited that Godzilla was going to be printed on a card. And fucking no! Shut up! It's not that big of a deal. Like,
and see what you did was you got really hyped for Godzilla, which was kind of cool. Like I do like some of the alternate art and stuff like that. It's a fun thing to do. But then they also did like The Walking Dead. And
they've done everything.
They're meshing a whole bunch of stuff. They were even talking about doing a Warhammer 40K crossover with it.
Fuck that.
Which is
get out of here.
Those realms are just too different to me, if that makes sense. You have like the grim dark with guns and all that kind of stuff, which you can kind of do. But
well, don't you have? I mean, you do have like the realm that old fucking Sarkov is from.
Oh, like I know you have like
I'm
Kaldheim,
blanking on all my
a whole
shit.
bunch of artifacts.
No, this is the one with like the werewolves and the vampires and the angels. He had to go and kill fucking what's her dick?
Innistrad.
Innistrad, yeah. You have Innistrad, which is like the dark fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. But Magic, even when it's mechanical in nature, is still very fantasy orientated.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like it's all artificers and like inventors and shit.
Exactly.
And, like, Magipunk.
Yeah, whereas 40K's Grimdark is sci-fi.
Well, it's like Hellscape.
Hellscape sci-fi, pretty much. Yeah. Which
Hellscape sci-fi with orcs for some reason.
Hell yeah.
Because you like when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, they got space marines with like 10 organs and shit, and like fucking you got the dark elves and the fucking what are the blood angels and all that shit, right? And it's all aggressive and angry, and then there's just orcs sitting over there.
Oh yeah,
like
they're all cogni.
Yeah,
which is why when I play D&D, all my orcs are cogni. You know, they're like, oh right, I'm D&D.
Yeah, right? Right.
And,
right.
Well, and we were talking about the naming of it's amazing because like everything for like the Space Marines is like, oh, it's a Redemptor Dreadnought because this guy only has a brain left and he's getting redemption for dying on the battlefield and all that kind of stuff. And then you have like the orc guy walking, he's like, I'm gonna call it Bubble Chucka, and I'm gonna go get lunch. Like, well,
boom boom blaster cannon.
Yeah. Boom Dacka Snazwagon.
Yeah, Boom Dacka Snazwagon. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's like, "Yeah, it's a good name."
Yeah,
you know, he's like,
there works. I mean,
yeah. Well, how do you name your stuff? Well, I take a bag of Scrabble chips and I just spill it on the table.
Yeah, and then whatever seems kind of coherent, I put it in the book. That's what it is.
One time I ate SpaghettiOs and it spelled a word, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, orc!" Right there. You know, like that's how they name the vehicles.
Man,
which I love it because orcs are very comedic in such a dark area because like they actually have a thing called a bubble chucka, and it is a cannon that shoots force field bubbles out that are they don't control the size.
Yeah,
they don't control how powerful it is. So like one could hit you that's like the size of like your pinky, and it just completely vaporizes like an entire person.
Yeah, well, the orcs are in general cool because they're all like psychic, right? Like they're
all like subliminally psychic. So they all, if they all collectively believe something, it begins to be true.
Red is fast, blue is lucky, green is what is green?
That's just the color they are. No,
I thought there was something else with that.
You have yellow. Yellow are the rich ones.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of too.
And then you have like pirate orcs, which is pretty cool, and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, and if they wear blue, they're lucky, so they're like
they get to reroll their D6s. And
yeah, which is a really cool mechanic, and it's a great way to do it. But and the whole culture thing just cracks me up because it's pretty much who's the biggest and who can punch the hardest. You know?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, we have changed topics quite a bit. So yeah, this magic card that came out. You going back to that, you said does it have a price yet, or is it even out? It's not out, right?
It's not out yet. Okay. So I don't know what the speculation
is. That's the set that you were telling me about that's reprinting Storm, right?
Yeah.
The whole
reason for the
Storm scale. So like if you guys don't know anything about Magic the Gathering, all the cards are rated on a scale based on reprintability. So if something's super fucking broken, like the Storm mechanic, it's like a 10 on the Storm scale. If something's super easy, super like lighthearted, whatever, fun, it'll get reprinted. It's a 1, right?
Yep.
And then there's stuff that ranges in between all of that. You can look it up. I think it's on the MTG wiki. So Storm is literally the creator of that scale because what it does is it allows you to like you cast a whole bunch of spells on your turn, and then you cast something that has Storm, and it will copy for every spell that you have cast before that.
Yep.
And I don't even think it specifies instant or sorcery or anything. So it's literally like you can play a creature that's a spell, right? You could play an instant, you could play a sorcery, you can play an enchantment. Any card that you can play out of your hand is a spell.
Right.
So like if you have a fucking low cost deck like white red humans and a bunch of like 1-drops, you just tap like 5 mana, play 5 things, and then cast like 3 for this card or whatever, and you'll get to duplicate it 5 times.
Yep, exactly.
Like it's ridiculous.
Which I was looking at the spoilers for it. They definitely are being real careful with it.
Yeah.
There's not like a 3-drop like Storm draw card or anything like that.
Yeah, the one that you sent me was all the effects happen on your next turn.
Yeah.
So like you play it on your turn, all the spells you do and all that stuff, you play the card, and then your next turn, which is your opponent goes, they have the potential to win, and then you go and you just do a bunch of crazy bullshit.
Yep.
Oh, you exile all the top cards you exile top cards of your deck based on the number of spells you cast, and then on your next turn you can play them for free.
Yeah, the other one I saw was a Storm. It was like a 5-drop, take control of a creature, it gains haste kind of card, which also had Storm, which was interesting because, like you said, you throw a couple lightning bolts in, and then you might be able to potentially steal someone's entire team.
Yeah, that red drop one might end up in my Thing in the Ice.
Yeah,
control
exactly.
Deck,
Well, and that's the thing, and each one of them is considered a casting, I believe, as well for Storm.
I thought I don't know. Maybe they've reworded it, but I thought it said for each spell cast. Oh yeah, no, it's each spell cast this turn, right?
When you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn.
Before it, yeah.
So the copies don't count as casting triggers, but they do. They do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. There's something you can do with it though. Like there's infinite combos and shit that come with Storm. Like there's a reason it's broken and it's taken them like 20 years to reprint it. Like
well, there's the reason that the whole Storm scale exists and is considered a 10, which means that they were never supposed to reprint it.
Yeah,
is Storm.
Yeah.
Annihilator is like an 8 or a 9 on there.
Yeah. Dredge was like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing fucking bringing cards back from your graveyard. Like all that shit is just broke as hell.
Yep. Yeah, selective return is pretty powerful in graveyard decks, especially when you're literally filling your graveyard with stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets real crazy. Like you said, Wizards definitely knows how to make their money.
Yeah, that whole Modern Horizons is just a money grab to me. Like they're reprinting Storm, which means everyone's going to buy those cards up. They're going to be worth $1 million because anyone that plays fucking Magic knows about this.
Yep.
And then that card has the word Black Lotus on it.
Yeah, just because it has it on there, and which is just close enough to not do it. And then the alternate art is a retro frame, which is kind of cool. So they're putting the original multicolor frame on it.
Yeah,
it's like the alternate, and that one's like running for $80 right now.
Jesus, and it's not even out.
It's not out yet. Yeah, so it's interesting.
That's why Magic hurts me. That's why Magic hurts my life.
Well, and then subjectively, it's really interesting because, like, it's a 5-drop Black Lotus, which makes it not good.
Yeah. Black Lotus's whole thing is the turn 1 stuff that you do with it.
Yeah, because it's a 0-drop 3 for any color. It's so fast. Like, there's nothing faster in the game.
Speedy.
And that's the thing. But people, because it's on there, that's what they get excited about. Yeah. They're just like, oh my God, it's amazing. And it's like, not really.
Well, and that there's people that are over here with D&D. So one of the books, Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, it's a horror-themed book, came out a couple weeks back now, actually. I think we briefly talked about it during our last podcast. But yeah, so that came out, and everybody's like, oh, it's just a reprint of stuff that came out in Unearthed Arcana. And it's like, yeah, for one thing, that's how they test stuff. So back the fuck off there. And then the second thing is, have you ever played Magic the Gathering from Wizards of the Coast?
Right.
Everything is a reprint of a reprint of a reprint. Like, all this, like, Modern Masters and, like, the Commander sets and all that shit, they're just reprinting shit that Commander people just eat up and, like, just throw their fucking money at. Yeah,
the Double Masters, Modern Horizons, all that kind of stuff. That's really what they do is they make a handful of new cards.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they just grab a shit ton of old cards and throw it in there.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, that's amazing now. And it's
they
like,
change the little icon and beneath the picture and then get some new art for it.
It's pay to win, so it lowers the cost on expensive cards so people can buy them, and that's why they get excited.
It's insane.
Yep.
But they're over here bitching because they like reprinted fucking Dampier and like the Reborn class and shit.
Like Unearthed Arcana, they made it official content.
And then they called it lineages instead of backgrounds. And it's like, yeah, because you can come from a vampire and not actually be one. That's what the Dampier are. Like, shut the fuck up. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here with your dumb shit. Go play MTG if you want to see some reprinted bullshit. You know how many like iterations of Lightning Bolt there's been, or like Soul Ring? Oh my fucking god! Like,
how many prints of Soul Ring? It's in every Commander series.
Every
since
single
2011.
one.
So that means there's been a new Soul Ring that gets printed like 3 times a year.
Yeah, ridiculous. Donk.
That's how it be, though, man. That's how it be.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's in a tizzy about it, so I'll probably buy a couple because hype. And and then
I'm gonna buy 5, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well,
1 to keep in my collector set and 4 to put in my deck. So
yeah. Gotta have a play set, you know. And yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
Bitched about them. Oh, shut up, Wizard. Just take my money. Don't judge me. Oh man, did you bring commenting on comments today?
I did bring some commenting on comments.
Okay. We'll get into that then, because we usually do it too late in the episode and we have to like rush through it. So
yeah,
commenting on comments. Let me get the music set here. Get the mood while I'm bringing this stuff up.
I've got a quick kill for the first one.
Okay.
DNDbeyond.com did an article, how to introduce psychological horror in your next campaign.
Oh.
Which is interesting. It goes into
actually going.
the different types of horror, body horror, cosmic horror, which is like
folk horror, the dark fantasy,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, gothic, disaster, slasher, all that kind of stuff. And then,
that's in Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes into like really good ways. And then again, they do also say, like do a session 0 because people might have certain fears they don't want to have to address with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people do have like mental body issues and stuff like that. So you may not want to do a body horror one.
Yeah.
Because it might trigger people,
In general, just to clarify this, you should have a session 0 to talk to your players beforehand and to set expectations. So it's a great thing to do anyway.
100% agree.
Buy Tasha's, do a session 0. Stop playing Variant Human Fighter. I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yep. And then
NSA, I'm not actually going to kill people.
And then they talk about the different, so they have an entire effects table that you can put on there and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
That does incapacitated due to screaming, laughing, or weeping, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
One of them is the character does whatever anyone tells him or her to do that isn't obviously self-destructive. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. I've read the article. So what are you getting at with it?
So this guy is some Hellhawk. I feel like we've talked about him before or something like that. Some excellent thought leadership in this article. This helps the framework forthcoming. Nice work. As a side note, I think Wizards of the Coast may be treading an insensitive line concerning mental illness when it comes to describing madness. Hopefully they understand this mistake soon and make corrections. This is
getting into political stuff, and honestly, we try to keep it lighthearted here and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not dogging on anyone that has mental illness. Mental illness is a big thing.
Right.
You should definitely get help if you have depression or any of that stuff. There's so many resources out there to help you. It's Memorial Day right now, right? Right now while we're filming this, it's Memorial Day.
Yep, exactly.
Which is in memoriam of soldiers, airmen that we've lost, things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of us are veterans, and I've known people that have literally died in combat. I've witnessed this. Mental health is a big thing, but at the same time, D&D is not a place to air your dirty laundry like that.
No, not at all.
Thing. So why should I feel like everyone is wanting Wizards to cater to every fucking thing, their every whim.
They want to what's the term? They want to whitewash it down to where they don't feel like there's any insensitivity to it.
Yeah. That should be based on your own game, not on the company that's making it.
Right, exactly.
So in your game, if you think madness is insensitive, don't fucking have madness in it.
And then also to address
See what I'm saying? That's what D&D is about.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to have a character that's going crazy.
You don't have to have horror in your game at all.
If that's an issue, don't.
That's why it's a supplemental book.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to have those elements if you don't want them. Right?
Not at all.
Expecting a large company to baby you essentially is the way I look at it, because mental health is a huge deal. I fully acknowledge that. But there's also a reason why they're called disorders or syndromes or things like that.
Yeah, because it's not normal.
It's not normal.
Yeah, PTSD is not normal.
Right.
You have had issues in your life that cause post-traumatic stress disorder. And you should go and get help for that stuff and manage it.
Yep.
You're not a normal person. And that makes me feel bad for saying that, but it's true. Yeah. Same thing for we had this conversation whenever all those people were blocking me on Facebook because I was joking about Demi Lovato and her recovering heroin addict right
Demi
there, right?
Lovato?
Yeah, Demi Lovato.
Yeah.
Great on her for coming out as non-binary, but I said, let's celebrate the good times, and I posted a bunch of heroin memes about her.
Oh, right.
I got 2 people that blocked me on Facebook because of that.
Well, yeah.
Because they were telling me I was being insensitive to recovering people. And I was like, well, they made the active choice of doing that stuff, and there's 1% of people that become addicts to opium because they broke their leg or something. I don't know, weak people. That's what that is. And the second thing is, dude, that is not normal. It's not normal for you to be a fucking alcoholic and to recover from it. Am I wrong in saying that?
Right.
You snorting cocaine or getting hopped up on opiates and heroin injected in your veins, that's not a normal thing. And it shouldn't be accepted as normal in our society.
Right.
Recovering from it is a great thing. Good on you for getting your life together, but don't do that shit to begin with. And that was my logic behind it.
Right.
And that lost me people on Facebook.
Yeah. Well,
and I was like,
because you need to be sensitive to whatever they feel.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I just need to be more sensitive to everyone.
This is something that having a 6-year-old we're trying to explain is that we will do things that upsets him. He does things that upsets us. That's part of living with anybody, right? Is how much control do you have over other people's emotions? And in all honesty, you don't. The only person who's in control of your emotions is you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, whenever it becomes a disorder and stuff like that is when you really don't have that control anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the whole, and just to clarify this, I've had a lot of dark shit happen in my life. I have a lot of dark shit that I'm not going to get into on this podcast. But if anyone actually knows me in person, like, I joke about that shit all the time.
Yep.
Like, my biological mother is hardcore, or was, I don't know, I haven't talked to her in like 10 years, but was hardcore addicted to drugs, alcohol, all that shit, which is why I feel I can completely talk about this.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old dragging her ass back into our house because she was hopped up on something and was fucking sleeping outside in the rain.
Yep.
It was me and this other like 20-year-old dude that she was dating. She's like 60, by the way. Like, just throwing this out there.
No, exactly.
But that's shit that I can talk about. I understand this. Like, if you know someone that's going through like addiction, dealing with it, all that stuff, like, cool. They're recovering. That's good.
They're recovering.
Good on
They
them
need
for
help.
Recovering.
Right.
But that shit's not normal. That is not a normal person at that point.
Well, and the only other issue
And it
that I
shouldn't be
had
accepted as normal.
with the Demi Lovato thing is it feels like it's a way to get the attention off of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of
Seems like a publicity stunt, right?
Right. Yeah. Like I lost 60 pounds over the course of 3 months, and I ended up going to the hospital because I had type 1 diabetes, which means my body couldn't process anything anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And the very first day I went back to work, I was immediately making jokes about how I miss candy bars and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Obvious.
and you know, and it's one of those things.
Sorry for bringing it to that serious place right there, but that's what that guy feels like to me.
Yeah, no,
like
and
this new
they need
wave
to
of
cater
everyone
to
wanting
him.
to cater to people. Make your game how you
Yeah.
want to make your game. That's why they put it in the DMG that the DM has the right to do anything.
That's also why they tell you to talk to your players.
That's
about
why we
it.
constantly talk about session zero. Just have one day where everyone shows up and you build their character sheets together and you fucking talk about the campaign and what's going to happen.
Because
right,
like I said,
that will solve so many issues. Because if you have someone that's a recovering heroin addict, like if you're playing with Demi Lovato, right, like, if she's in your game, you probably shouldn't have a bunch of fucking drug addicts running around and acting crazy, right?
Right.
Because that's insensitive. So, like, that's why you talk to your friends, talk to your players. There's so much shit on Reddit that goes around about that, where they're like, I don't really know, I don't know what to do. Like, my players are crazy. They keep murdering babies in the game and, like, raping dragons. And I'm like, well,
stop letting them.
Let's stop letting them, A, and B, fucking go and talk to them. Why are you on Reddit right now getting advice?
Right.
Talk to them. Say, that's stupid. Go fuck yourself. Like, get out of here.
You
right?
know how to get players to stop doing that stuff? Is they get caught, and then they get, like...
Yeah, have them try to explain that shit to a guard.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You're acting like a fucking idiot. Why aren't you doing this?
Yeah,
and then they
exactly.
have to tell you to your face, usually in person or over the internet, whatever, in a camera, why the fuck they're acting like an idiot.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You know, and then, and then again, going back to the table, a lot of these are like minor sources of madness or disorders and stuff like that, which is fine to say. They're not being insensitive by putting them in a list. The only time that insensitivity comes into it is if you intentionally put that in order to like
make fun of that.
Make fun of somebody. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like if you knew there was someone in your game that's suffering from depression or is schizophrenic or something like that, maybe don't have a bunch of schizophrenic people running up to them in game.
Or maybe not even put extra schizophrenia elements in the game.
Which is why you have a session zero, because they may be fucking fine with it. I could probably throw diabetes into our campaign that we play every week, and I doubt you would have any trouble with it.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, this dude, you can't have his like candy bar. You can't eat like the elven bread because it's too fucking whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then on a lighter note, this one did crack me up. It's from 54MU31. How to terrify your players in just a few words. What is your passive perception? How many hit points do you have? Make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh man, I like that one.
That's solid. Yeah. You know. And,
what's your passive perception again? Why? Why do you need it?
No,
it's an 8.
Oh, I need to find it. I found someone who printed off mini versions of the player cards, and they would hang them over their DM screen so they could actually see everyone's stats without ever having to ask or anything like that.
Well, I have it written on mine.
Yeah.
Because I have like it's a fucking plastic sheet or whatever. And so I use a dry erase marker and write your guys' stuff on there.
Yeah, because I'm always...
The problem is I always write it out of order. So it's like 18, 4, 12, 9, 10, 20, 18. And it's just, it confuses the hell out of me because it needs to be in numerical order. Hashtag OCD.
Right? That's how it goes, man. Yeah, but that's my
sorry. Like I said,
I know that's...
I apologize for bringing it to the real place there, but like, holy fuck, man, stop asking wizards to cater to you, please. God, they are a big ass company. Like, be an adult, make the game how you want to make it.
Yeah, they're not being insensitive. They are putting elements in that people can use. And who is it? I think it's Taliesin Jaffe has used D&D as a coping mechanism to help get through dark places.
Taliesin Jaffe, from Critical Role, by the way, he's the one that plays Percival Frederickstein von No. Percival, Frederickstein, Kowalski, Dorello III.
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
I keep wanting to say Von Richten in the middle of that because we were talking about Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft.
Right.
But he plays Percy in the first campaign of Critical Role with Matthew Mercer, and then he plays Molly Mock, who dies. And then, if you're uncomfortable with death, don't listen to our podcast. And then he plays, spoiler alert, Caduceus Clay, which is a death cleric, or grave cleric. Sorry, grave domain cleric. But yeah, that dude's great. And then Liam O'Brien. Liam O'Brien was going through some really fucking dark shit when he was working for Geek and Sundry and Matthew Mercer and doing all that shit.
Right.
And he has an entire two shot, whatever you want to call it,
right,
where it's just them going through his fucking mind and all the like depression and shit he was dealing with. And that helped him cope with it.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you need to get through that shit. Sometimes you need to have it out in the open and fucking talk about it and deal with it.
And sometimes these are tools that people can use.
Yeah. It's not normal. Don't think it's normal.
Because you can
get through it.
You can disassociate and see someone else go through it, and then it kind of helps you realize, oh, it's okay for me to be this way, but I do need to get through it. You know what I mean? I do need to cope. I do need to find whatever it is that helps you find that pocket of sunshine. You know? That kind of thing. And that's why they're not being insensitive, and by catering down like that, you're taking tools out of a toolbox for other people that might be using it.
Yep. Like Liam O'Brien and Taliesin Jaffe and all those guys. Like me. I deal with shit like that all the time through D&D.
Yep.
The whole second campaign for Matthew Mercer, they realized it's all about eyes, the 9 eyes, like all these eyes watching them, all these people watching them, right?
Yep.
And then they were like, oh yeah, shit. Like overnight, we became one of the biggest names in Dungeons and Dragons. We made like $13 million off of a Kickstarter to get like a animated show built for us.
Yeah, they had like a couple thousand viewers on their very first show. Or something like that.
It was like maybe a couple thousand, and then now they're up to like 170,000 people that watch them weekly.
Yep.
And Matt's like, holy shit, maybe that's my way of dealing with that.
Yeah.
Because I have so many eyes on me everywhere I go.
Exactly.
Like.
Well, especially him. People get way too judgy with him.
Oh, yeah, because they say some, like, bullshit about how he's not playing the rules right when it's his game and he's doing it for his friends. Like, suck it up, princess. Get out of here. Sorry.
Do you have one, or do you want to...
Oh, I have a couple. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about was from one of our dear friends that you and I both know. He sent it to us on our mediocre advice at outlook.com.
Yeah.
It says, Dearest ZombieNikon and the big chungus from among us. Once upon a campaign most boring, I took a short rest to listen to a sending spell from the mediocre experts. The knowledge passed on the heat metal spell, or the knowledge passed on from the heat metal spell intrigued me so that I, after learning, made haste to my next encounter to test its power. Luckily enough, an opportunity presented itself when our plucky rogue, he spelled it Rouge, God love him, lodged his throwing dagger into a foe. As a bard, I used the web of ethereal truth to raise the blade's temperature, causing extreme pain and damage to the ungodly creature. What say you to my divine retribution and how my god allowed its effects to win the day? And he said, yeah, I'm cheesy as fuck, but I'd love to hear your ruling if you were my DM on the action. And he said, Galaxia, harbinger of Robin.
Solid.
Got my devoted out there, you know what I'm saying? So, basically what he's asking here, in his own way, is saying that heat metal, does it work on an item lodged into a foe? Like if I stab my longsword into someone, or in his case, if I throw a dagger and then cast heat metal, would it work?
Right.
What's your ruling on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's metal that's making contact with a creature.
1000%, yeah. I would love that shit.
I would say because that gets really interesting, right?
It works the same way as armor. You can remove it as an action.
I was going to say,
it fits so well.
I would, because I think it inherently has a saving throw, even if you try to touch it or something like that, or to like hold on to it and stuff like that.
Yeah. You have to fight through like a con saving throw. So like if you're wearing plate armor and I heat metal on you, you have to survive a Constitution saving throw in order to like take it off or do something like that.
In order to keep if it's a weapon, it's in order to keep hold of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Ignore the armor thing that I just said. I'm a fucking idiot because there's no save against it.
Right.
That's the big thing about heat metal. You just do it.
Yeah.
And then you have to think of it as like a burst, right? So you like flare it up on your turn for your bonus action or whatever it is, action, I can't remember.
Right.
And then it dies down by the end of your turn. So you flare it up, do that damage, and then it dies down, you maintain concentration on it. Next person's turn goes.
Right, at which point that person like
can use their action to pull it out
or something like
that.
that.
Yeah, and it's died down, right? So at that point, I don't even know if I would rule it as like a save. I would probably do it as like some sort of strength save or something like that, just to like pull it out. I don't know.
Strength or con?
Yeah,
because you're concentrating on like not bleeding out kind of thing. You know,
well, it is a free action to interact with an object. So like pulling a dagger out of you, like, I mean, it hurts obviously.
Yeah.
hashtag been stabbed before, so it definitely is hurt. It's painful.
Yeah, well,
but at the same time, like, it's not hot at that point, right? Like, you don't just keep it flared up, otherwise you'd be doing constant damage like every turn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does it count
as opposed to what's around?
As drawing or stowing a weapon?
I 100% think it would. Yeah, like you're drawing it out of your body.
Yeah, and I think the narrative there is you could inflict damage again when they pull it out, because that is something that happens to people, or that could have just been part of the initial throw that people aren't registering.
Yeah.
But usually I don't. My biggest drawback is, unless someone states an intent, I don't usually have it where the weapons are staying in or anything like that. So
when your rogue is like throwing daggers into a dragon or some shit, like or not a dragon, because dragons have scales and it bounces off and all that crap. But
right.
I don't know, like a flesh golem. If you're Whistler and you're throwing daggers into a flesh golem, you don't think those are like staying inside the body?
I don't know if they are 100% of the time. You know what I mean?
I guess it would depend.
It would depend at that point.
So if you rolled like, let's say the creature's AC is a 20,
right,
and you rolled exactly on a 20,
then
like maybe it hit and
or
glanced out, like hit the armor and dented it in, or it stabbed into their shoulder and they like pulled it out and threw it on the ground or some shit like that.
Well, and bone is actually fairly hardy, and like you could hit rib and it can bounce out at that point in time. Things
it
like
could
that.
too, yeah.
Or whenever, like you said, if it just,
I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you're super close,
that,
like you're probably like you could have fucked up the throw and it like hit them with the blunt end of your dagger instead of the actual blade.
Right, and that's why
it still does the same amount of damage.
You rolled a 1 on the dice, so it just like hit him in the forehead
100%.
or something. So
you're telling me in my games where you're like shooting your short bow into like zombies and shit, you don't think those arrows are still sticking out of their face?
I mean,
am I not describing
arrows to a degree. Well, that's a me thing. Well, and what I do also find interesting is if you do the ruling of being able to flare it up, even if the guy throws it out, you could in theory still hold concentration on it and just lodge it back in and flare it up again.
Yeah.
Which would kind of hilarious, because like then you just have this persistent problem where this guy just keeps getting stabbed with a heat metal weapon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's something that people don't really focus on with heat metal, because they always talk about like, oh, if I heat metal on my own longsword and hit someone with it, does it do extra damage? And it's like, no, because you like your action would be to attack with the longsword.
Right.
Your bonus action is to flare it up.
Right.
And it only stays flared up for that bonus action. I think that's like a misconception that people get about heat metal. Yeah. So if you took your longsword and stabbed it into a golem or something, and then heat metal on it, 100%. Yeah, I would totally allow that shit. Because A, you're down a longsword at that point, and B, you're heat metaling inside their body. I might even grant you some more damage from that shit. Like, that's awesome.
Potentially.
That's a great plan.
You're cauterizing the wounds as they go in.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Lightsaber.
And you were the chosen one.
I have the high ground, Anakin.
Yeah. You did a flip over Maul. I can do a flip over you. Yeah, but I'm the one who did it, so I know exactly. I know exactly what's gonna happen. Like, calm down. Yeah.
Relax, bro.
Oh my God. And I think that's a really utility way to run it.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Keep it lodged in, and then, like you said, even if they throw it to the ground, you could like run up, grab it, and just right back in there.
Thank you. Thank you for sending that in. I appreciate that. That's a great question from our heat metal episode.
And again, it's a unique way to use a spell. It's an outside of the box way to use a spell.
Yeah.
You know
Instead
what I mean?
of saying like, oh, well, heat metal's not a great spell because Meteor Swarm, a 9th level spell, does an average of 270 damage, when in reality it doesn't. That's across the board. Yeah, not to one single target.
Yep.
Because you can only target him once with a meteor. Go fuck yourself,
exactly.
guy.
9th
level spare, comparing it to like a 2nd level heat metal. Are you kidding me right now? Heat metal's not that great because Wish exists, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Ring of 3 Wishes.
Gauntlets of Ogre Strength aren't that great because Belt of Storm Giant Strength exists.
God. We're fucking nerds, man. All right, let me get into this next topic. Thank you for sending that in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think
if you guys have anything else you want us to answer or talk about during the podcast, mediocreadvice@outlook.com. I promise we're not trying to steal your information. It's just the easiest way to sort through stuff.
And he also said he's playing a bard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bard life all the way.
Oh,
that's exactly
bards,
what you're doing.
Yeah,
because like, what are you singing at that point? I guess that's what song comes to mind if that's what you're. If you're doing heat metal, you know what I mean.
He said he used a web of ethereal truth.
A web of ethereal truth.
Yeah, to raise the blade's temperature.
Oh man. Well, yeah, and see, that's what I'm.
And also, bards don't always have to sing.
They don't always have to sing. Yeah.
Give a little, you know. It's all great.
Bard.
Bard. You're just an artist all around.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hey, watch me juggle these things. All right, now you have inspiration. It's all about thinking outside the fucking box.
What? That man's
You
juggling
goddamn
over there,
very
and that
human
guy's
fighters.
getting a bloody nose. How is he viciously mocking him with juggling? Oh, look at this.
Oh, little baby can't hold on. Oh, little Butterfinger over there can't even hold on to his long sword.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, bards are the best. But the last thing I wanted to get into here. So it was a thing from ScreenRant.com. I saw it on my Facebook.
Ooh, solid.
And what it says is, oh god, get out of here with your pop-up ads. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Vision makes campaigns too easy. And the too long didn't read part of this. It says Dungeons and Dragons races have special boons that benefit players. However, some of these abilities can negatively impact campaigns. The ability Dark Vision allows capable characters to see in dim spaces. The ability is available to a large number of races. It can also be cast as a spell. Seeing in the dark can take the challenge out of certain tasks in a campaign, as well as ruin the mood of spooky locations, which obviously it's all about spook stuff now because of Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft.
Right.
To help prevent this, DMs can choose to modify the Dark Vision ability. And then the very last thing on this is up next, the Avengers Battle of the Justice League, an epic crossover arc. Go fuck yourself. Get out of here, Screen Rant. So basically what they're saying is Dark Vision sucks and everyone only picks characters because of Dark Vision, which 100% is true. Variant Human Fighter is out of 10,000 people or some odd shit like that were interviewed, that was the number one class. It was like 4,000 or 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
like
almost 50%
of people
play Variant Human Fighter, and it's because Fighter gives you a bunch of options, bunch of like feats and all that shit you can get, and Variant Human gives you a feat at level 1, 2, a +1 and a +1, and then skill proficiency, or 2, I think actually. But yeah, so they play Variant Human Fighter because people don't think outside the box. It's the most vanilla of the vanilla for D&D. Like,
right.
When you don't have an idea for a character or a backstory or anything, you play Variant Human Fighter.
Right.
That's kind of what this is saying. So they're saying that like DMs have the ability to modify dark vision, as in you can make it to where only in dark places do you see dim light, or it only works certain times, or certain races don't even have dark vision, is what they go into, and they're like, oh, why should like high elves have dark vision?
We've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah,
as well.
or like Tritons, right? So Tritons live in the deep, dark, dank ocean.
Yeah.
In biomes where it's pitch fucking black, and they don't have dark vision.
Right.
Verdan are a race that are like kind of descendants of goblins that were jacked up with this chaotic energy, and goblins have dark vision, but Verdan no longer have dark vision.
Right.
So like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, do you think dark vision's overpowered? Would you get rid of it in your campaigns? Do you just want to like fuck over players? Like, what you got for me?
Well, so for me, as soon as you say that like someone having dark vision takes away the fear element when running a game is interesting to me. It feels like it's a lack of creativity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're
that to me that applies to both sides of the coin though, because if you're only picking Variant Human because you want that extra feat, or you're only picking High Elf because you know it's going to give you dark vision, like
if you're picking stuff
as a player,
solely for
get out of here,
solely for dark vision and stuff like that, it's probably a little bit too much.
Yeah,
there's spells, there's a cantrip light that you could use, all kinds of stuff like that.
Dancing lights is a cantrip. You can get fucking torches, which no one uses.
No.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, because the DM could blow the torch out with a strong gust of wind or something. God forbid.
Maybe you'd be better at lighting your fucking torch.
Yeah, the flame, like produce bonfire, like all kinds of, like they give you so many resources to be able to see in the dark and stuff like that. That to me, if you're just picking a race because it has dark vision, you're probably mid-maxing too much.
Way too much.
And then also...
And you're metagaming because you're like, oh, I know we're doing an Underdark campaign, so I'm going to play a Dark Elf because they have 120 feet of dark vision.
Oh,
so
exactly.
They can't no one could sneak up on me.
Yep. Well, and then starting with the Blair Witch Project, there's an entire genre of horror movies that are all shot with like in that grainy green and black,
the night vision.
Yeah, the night vision camera, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And those are still like blockbuster horror films that show that.
Cult classics.
I can't remember if it's Insidious.
No, it's not Insidious. You're thinking of the oh my god, it's the one that had that chick from Dexter, his sister.
I would say I am not in the horror genre. My lovely wife would be able to name all these, but it's
all first person perspective. She plays like a writer or whatever.
Cloverfield, yeah, that's the shaky cam one.
Yeah.
It's a lot about how you drive the narrative of how you describe what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Because even in dark vision, they say that your vision's just gray and black, essentially.
Yeah, and if you're in total darkness, which is like nighttime in D&D, there's no such thing as dim light in total darkness. Like if you're in the middle of a forest, it's all dark. You can read it in the DM's guide. It's always dark.
Yep.
So that means you see in dim light, and even in dim light, even within that 60 feet, I'm pretty sure you have disadvantage on perception checks. And then anything beyond that 60 feet, you don't see it at all.
Right, exactly. And
so
then
like dark vision isn't that broken when you actually play by the fucking rules.
When you actually line it out and everything like that.
I've started doing that a lot more. And you guys were like, you have dark vision, and I was like, well, it's foggy and like dark outside. You have dim light, so you can barely see the dude because he's 70 feet away from you.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm allowing you to see the shadow. You know where he is. But if you fire with your weapon, it's going to be a disadvantage because it's outside of your dark vision.
Which makes sense.
So it makes you have to move closer and like get, into the light or whatever. Right?
Visual elements are a big thing. The 60-foot range, I think, is where, because most people don't do a lot of combat that is that far apart.
Yeah.
In all honesty. At least whenever you have a board with squares. A lot of people aren't really playing it that far away.
And 60 feet it's 60 feet of dark vision, but it's 30 feet of...
regular, and then it's like dim or something like that. It, depending on what you're using, like the light spell is like 30 bright, 30 dim.
Yeah. The light spell is. So it literally is like if you were in total darkness, 30 feet around you see as if it's bright light, and then 30 feet, that second 30 feet is just dim light.
Right.
I don't think dark vision works that way, does it? Am I dumb? Let me look this up. Where's dark vision? Bugging there. Click this. Click this spell. Second level spell, right?
But there's more creative ways to describe what's going on. You could also have it where your big baddie is, maybe it has a shroud of darkness that just has like darkness around it, so people don't notice it or something like that.
They have dark vision. A monster with dark vision can see in the dark within a specific radius. The monster can see in dim light within the radius as if it were bright light, and darkness as if it were dim light. That's the two things I was missing up. So it's not 30 and 30. It's you see in dim light as if it were bright light, so just normal daytime, right?
Yeah.
And then in total darkness, which is D&D games at night, unless you're doing something different, in the middle of a forest, you see as if it's dim light, which means you have 60 feet of dim light. Beyond that, you don't see fucking anything. Yeah, and then in that 60 feet, you have disadvantage on perception checks.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure.
Well, and then... but yeah, so you could have a baddie that casts darkness itself, because that doesn't go away easily. You can't see it through it with regular dark vision. You could cast blindness, fog cloud. There's enough solutions to it, especially if you're walking through like a haunted house, right?
Yeah, there's no reason why mist can't are just coming out of the walls and shit.
Yeah,
like it's horrifying.
At all. Yeah, it's a blood mist. Yeah,
grody.
It's stuff like that where you can find solutions around it, especially if you have people who are power gaming it to that point with dark vision.
I don't think I've ever had anyone that's done that. Like, I don't think anyone's, in my campaigns at least, I don't think anyone has just picked a character based on dark vision. I'll fully admit that, like, in the campaign, the one shot that we're doing for Bree, with Bree as the DM, Ross, like, hardcore changed his entire character concept because he rolled a bunch of like odd numbers, and he was like, oh, well, I can get a +1 to everything if I'm just a normal ass human.
Right.
And so he became a normal ass human instead of like a high elf or whatever he was going for.
Yeah, because he had like 3 15s.
Yeah, because he had 3 15s and like a 19 and a 20 or 19 or 2 18s or whatever. Yeah. So he basically like he picked human, straight human, because he got a +1 to all stats, which put his skills at like 20, 20, 3 16s and then 15 or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That's like the one time I've had anyone do that stuff.
Right. Well, because there's enough variance out there that you can do something to get a little bit better at it. But in all honesty, like, to me, the races don't, I guess they don't impact it that much.
And I mean? There's so many people that don't like using Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Yeah.
Like there's a new thing where you can customize your origin. So you pick like small or medium creature, and then you can look like whatever you want. You could be a fucking orc or giant, whatever you want, Goliath. And that's your character description, and then now your origin determines your background, your what ability scores you get, skill proficiencies, a feat, whatever. And then the new one, it's like a +2 and a +1 to 2 different abilities.
Right.
And then you can get a feat as well if you don't take skill proficiencies. And everyone's like, oh, that's the new variant human. That's what everyone's gonna pick because Tasha's is legal in Adventures League. And it's like, or you could be fucking original. Like,
yeah, it's perfectly fine. Well, and again,
God.
It's also because they were tired of just seeing variant human.
Yeah.
They wanted to see tieflings and
so they gave the variant human features to
kind of
any race. You could be any race now and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I fucking love Goliaths. I love Goliaths and I like tieflings.
Yep.
But the problem that I have is that if I play my Goliath, I don't want to be just like a barbarian, fighter. I want to be like a fucking sorcerer or like maybe a Goliath that's all jacked and he's a wizard, right?
Right.
Like, that sounds awesome to me. But you couldn't really do that with the original rules. With Tasha's Cauldron and everything, you can do that now. Because I can put +2 in my intelligence, +1 in my charisma or whatever, or wisdom, whatever I want to do, and then be a fucking wizard.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's so good. They did so much good stuff with that, and I don't know why it gets so much hate.
No, they did. But yeah, it's... People get real finicky with that stuff because it changes a core aspect of the game, you know? And they're like, oh, I don't like change. They don't like change, but they also want you to whitewash everything and dumb it down for everybody, you know? But yeah, that's my take on it, is dark vision. If you know that everyone in your party has it, you have ways to play around it. You could also be literally in a haunted house that's in a different dimension that has magical darkness so no one can see anyways.
Yeah. And
like that could be a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's also like, that's doing one of those things that people tell you not to do as a DM too, though, is limiting your players. And it's one of those things where like sometimes dark vision won't apply. And if that's part of the story, cool. But if you're doing that specifically to spite dark vision players, like,
I'm not even saying do it all the time.
Wrong, yeah.
I'm not saying to do it all the time. I'm saying if you want to run like a horror mission where they feel fear because they can't see and stuff like that, you can cater to that specific mission.
Yeah, or you just let them have fucking dark vision and then they get to
matter as
congrats.
much.
You get to see all the flesh horrors that I'm throwing at you. Good job. Like,
exactly.
Did that get you anywhere?
Like,
no, you're still terrified.
But yeah, that's more of what I'm saying is like you can play around with it. You know what I mean? You can do something with it to still have that horror element.
Yeah, you know,
I'm not saying you should do a whole campaign.
Yeah, that's just
like, those guys
yeah. Well, that's one of the things
all.
that a lot of people do though, is they automatically say like, oh, my fighter gets 4 attacks, so I'm going to take away one of the fighter's attacks, and that's a bad thing. That's a bad DMing method.
Right.
Anytime you take away stuff like that from a player is a negative thing.
Right.
Admittedly, I have definitely taken stuff away from you guys, like long rests. Right, long rests are that you get back 1 fucking hit dice right now with my grit rules.
Right.
So you no longer recover like all your shit on a long rest, which I think is fun, and hopefully you guys are having fun in it too. But at the same time, I'm limiting you, right?
Yeah.
There's other people out there that think I'm fucking crazy for that, or I give out a lot more magic items than anyone else in D&D apparently, because no one likes having magic in their high fantasy fucking Dungeons and Dragons games. Like, it makes no sense.
They all want Lord of the Rings where you're just walking for 6 months.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with like there's people that don't play with like elves in their campaigns because they only want humans, and not even variant humans, just straight +1 to everything humans.
Yep.
Because they think that that's going to limit their players a lot more, which is wrong. Like, that just feels not right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, if you're only ever playing humans, then like that doesn't give you any variety. There's too many other races out there, right? Like,
what was it? There was a guy who wanted to get like True Vision or something like that, where he could like activate it once a day, where he could like see through solid objects and stuff like that.
And like through,
but that wasn't really a thing that I had created. So I had an expensive version that was the right one. I had an inexpensive version that was a janky one, and then
you're talking about Januna's Wondrous Eyes.
Yeah, so he bought those, and then pretty much got as a story element, he was like blinded for like a D6 days, where remove curse wouldn't even do it or anything like that.
Got all infected.
I rolled a 1, so
eyes.
I rolled a 1, so he was fine like the next day. But I did fully intend, like I rolled the dice, and if he would have been blind for like
100%.
6 days.
Do you not remember whenever what? Oh god, it's got to be like 3 years ago now. Like 3 years ago, I was laying in bed with my lovely wife, and I was looking through a book that was traps for D&D 5th edition, ranging anywhere from like minimal, safe, to just like setback to like deadly, right?
Right.
One of the deadly ones was a spyglass that you would find, and when you cranked it to the side and like opened it up to like extend the spyglass to look through it, it launched a spike back into your eye.
Yeah.
Right. So I read this to her, and she was like, "That's crazy. Never use that against us." 2 years go by. You guys are in a random magic shop, general store, right?
Yep.
Story time. And Holmes, played by our dear friend Ryan, God bless him, goes over to the spyglass because he's a character, and in this game he's playing. The reason his name's Holmes is because he's basing it off of like Sherlock Holmes, right?
Right.
So he's got an insanely high insight, it's 20 plus, and he's got an insanely high passive perception, it's like 20 plus, and he's a rogue, so he's expertise in those things,
right,
which means that if he looks at you, he's gonna roll minimum like 25 right at this point in the game. So his ass was going over there like min maxing. He was like, oh, in your games, like spyglass give you advantage on perception checks, and like magnifying glasses give you advantage on like investigation checks and shit. So, I said insider, I'm an investigation. But
yeah,
he was like, so I'm gonna get a spyglass and I'm gonna get like a fucking magnifying glass. Goes into the store, picks up a spyglass that the owner didn't know was like cursed, and looks through it in the middle of the store. I was like, you know what? Normally there's no save against this because it's right against your fucking eyeball. But give me a dexterity save. You're a rogue. You're probably going to succeed. He succeeded. Got a huge fucking scar on the side of his head from the spyglass that launches out at him. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years, man. Long con right there.
Yeah. No, that's how it goes.
And that just teaches you, don't fucking min-max. Like, if I gave you like a plus 37 to your fucking ability, just take that. You don't need advantage.
Yeah, you really don't need.
And you wondered why I was mad at him about that. Because advantage automatically makes you better at everything.
No, yeah. You don't need a plus 20 if you have advantage for stuff. But that's also the difference between expertise and advantage, and why you really only need one or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, you don't even necessarily need them, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, so we're at the end of this.
Yeah.
Oh, look at us. Jinx, pinch poke, you make coke. Yeah, we're going to wind this on down. Thank you for talking to me. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, of course.
Let's do our sponsored by finrat.com. I'm actually working on a bunch of stuff to put on there now. I added ads to it, so the more you go and view my pages, the more money I get. Hashtag paying for this podcast. I have all of my stuff on YouTube now instead of Twitch and YouTube. I'm bouncing between them. I don't know. I've been lazy. I haven't really done anything on either one of them lately. I'm also just a Sag boy because my wife's gone. And then... Yeah. If you have anything that you want to talk to us about, mediocreadvice@outlook.com. I know I mentioned that like 3 times, but you should definitely send us stuff because we like talking about things, obviously.
All kinds of random stuff.
But all right, well, I'm going to play us out. Do you have anything else you want to give them?
Nah, man, let's have a good week.
Share it with everyone. Share.
Yep.
Share.
Spread the word.
All right, let's get on out of here. Bye.